One.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 27th, 2022 virtual meeting of Chatham's Historic Business District Commission. My name is Daniel Silver, and I am the current chairman. Hopefully, this meeting will unfold or proceed as follows. As soon as Sarah Clark, the Central Permitting Coordinator, reads the governor's directive concerning these meetings, we'll do a roll call to see what members are present, and we'll be reviewing the applications this afternoon. Our first order of business will be the minutes, and as soon as those are approved, we'll move right on to the applications. And when Sam Stribert, our clerk, reads your application, we ask that you speak up and let your presence be known and give a brief synopsis of what you're proposing. Move on from there. Okay, Sarah?
Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Pursuant to Governor Baker's July 16, 2022 signing of an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, including the extension of his March 12, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, until March 31, 2023, this meeting of the Historic Business District Commission is being conducted remotely and shall afford adequate alternative means of public access via Microsoft Teams by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 394-500-382#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access, and we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, as I said, we'll now do a roll call of the members who are present. Let's see, we'll start off with Sam Stribert, our clerk.
Sam Stribert is here.
Okay, regular member Bob Burns.
Bob Burns is here.
Okay, and our first alternate, Steve DeBoer.
Steve DeBoer is here.
Okay, you'll be covering for Darcy, Steve.
Okay.
And Dan Silver's here, the chairman. Very good. All right, so we have a quorum. We have more than a quorum, so you folks are all set. Okay, Sam, let's see. The minutes. And the minutes are of September 7th. Is there anybody that would like to make amendments to those minutes?
There were only two applications. One was an administrative approval, so I have no problem with the minutes.
All righty. Now let's see, Bob, you weren't here, right?
No, but I watched the video, so.
Oh, all right, all right.
The archive
Any
video.
comments?
No comments. Everything looks fine.
Steve?
No, I'm fine. Everything looks good.
Okay, I'm fine too. Would someone like to make a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, Steve or Bob?
Second, Bob Burns.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Okay, Sam?
I approve. I approve the minutes.
Okay, Bob?
Bob Burns approves the minutes.
Steve?
Steve DeBoer approves.
And Dan Silver approves as well. Okay, those are out of the way, folks. Now for our first application.
First application is a sign, 22-86, First Congressional Church, care of Debbie Swenson. Application to install a wall sign to the structure located at 650 Main Street.
All right, and I know that Debbie is here.
I am here.
Okay, Debbie, what can you tell us about this?
Well, as you know, when I was with you last month, the church is going to put in a memorial garden, which
Yes.
you approved. And we are going to have a sign, which I think you can see will be attached to the exterior wall, the east wall of the church. I put a photo of the church and an arrow toward where the sign is going to be erected between two windows. And the sign will be attached to the wall. It is a white sign with black border. And says First Congregational Church of Chatham Memorial Garden, and it's going to be in honor of Debbie Hurl. And on that sign are 100 individual plaques that screw in, which will have the name and the date of birth and the date of death of those whose ashes will be going into the memorial garden. The paperwork that I gave you, and you should have copies of, give you the dimensions of the sign, the colors and so forth, the height on the building. And there's a photo of it on the building. There's a photo of it individually, and there's a photo of where it is from the street. If you're down on the street, you can look up, and you can't see the sign actually, but it shows you where it's going.
Right, it's on the east side of the building, right?
Yes, it's on the east side of the building, facing
No,
the garden, actually facing the garden.
it's only on one side.
Yeah.
All righty, very nice presentation. Thank you. All right. Sam?
I think it's going to be a tremendous addition and completely related to the Memorial Garden, which will be a terrific addition. So I will be in approval.
Okay. Bob?
I think it looks great, so I have no further questions.
Very good. Okay, Steve?
I think it's a very nice idea. I have no problems or questions about it.
Okay, I think it's in a great location, yep. Okay, that's Dan Silver, I'll approve too, so we've got 3. And, okay, we haven't got anybody else here, right?
That's us. Just us cats here.
Well, one of the other people, all right, very good.
I'm hearing none. I would like to make a motion for 22-86 First Congregational Church, care of Debbie Swenson, application to install a wall sign to the structure located in 650 Main Street as presented.
Bob
good.
Burns, second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded, ready to vote. All right, Sam?
Sam Stryver approves.
Okay. Bob?
Bob Burns approves.
Okay, Steve DeBoer?
Steve DeBoer approves.
And Dan Silver approves as well. Very good. Thank you. Okay, Sam, where are we now?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Debbie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
22-89, Munson Meeting, care of Simple Signs. Application to replace the existing ground sign located at 880 Main Street. And the Central Permitting Coordinator has written that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw. Oh, that's First Congregational Church, I'm sorry. But I have
Right.
already.
That's right. You can just keep on going, Sam.
On 880 Main Street, the Central Permitting Coordinator has written that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw.
Very good. Thank you, Sam. All right. We have the applicant here, our applicant's representative.
Hi, yes, my name is Selena from Simple Signs, and I am here on behalf of Munson Meeting.
All righty, what can you tell us?
I was in last month for a road sign that they are updating on one end of the plaza. We also would like to go ahead and match the exact same thing and remove the old sign on the other side of the plaza to match what the new one will be as well. So we'll have, the one was already approved last month. We want to match this one to be the same.
Oh,
So
all right.
Yeah, so it'll have the same structure, same exact names, same exact colors, everything the same as the entrance on the other side of the road.
Same.
Yes.
Okay. Sam?
I had a reservation that there's no border for connecting these ladder signs with the Munson Meeting, but I think it's, since there's such a large number of tenants, I think this, and they will be moving around, assuming they'd be moving around, some coming in, some going out, that this is the simplest way to have a sign in this location. So I have no problems with the sign.
All right. Well, Bob Burns?
Yes, I agree with the sign and the number of tenants being so many. I think this sign is like the one we approved a couple weeks ago, very appropriate. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Steve?
I have no questions. It looks like there isn't any lighting there existing, so I'm assuming there's not going to be in the future.
As far as I know right now, sorry about that. We won't be doing any sort of lighting there. We're checking the ground lighting on the other one, but it didn't look like existing, as well as we talked about landscaping last time. If that's added later as well, that'll be, but we'll clean up whatever needs to be removed and cleaned in the area. But as of right now, no lighting.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's, made to look like the other end of the plaza, so that's a good idea. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm fine with it as well. All right. We have a motion?
So I'll make the motion for 22-89 Munson Meeting, care of Simple Signs, application to replace the existing ground sign located in 880 Main Street as presented.
Very good.
Bob Burns, second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Ready to vote? All right, Sam?
Yes, I vote and approve.
Okay. Bob Burns?
Bob Burns approves.
Steve Bratton?
I vote to
Steve
approve
DeBoer?
I vote to approve as presented.
Okay. And Dan Silva votes to approve as presented. Very good. All right, moving right along.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
So now we have an addition and an alteration, 22-87, Robert Kroll, application to replace the existing windows on the structure located at 243 Kroll Road.
I know Robbie's here with us.
Yes,
How you doing, Robbie?
good. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Been a while.
We're going for like as close as possible.
Yes,
And how many windows have you got approximately, Robbie?
4.
Okay,
You can see I'm not, this one is coming out and I'm gonna put a double hung, 2 double hungs here and the rest is just swapping out.
okay, the ones where you're gonna put in the double hung, the 2 double hungs, is that on the back of the house?
No, it's on the front.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
it will match the other bedroom next to it.
Okay, very good. All right. And I'm sure they're gonna wanna know what type of windows they are. And
Yeah,
that's it?
yeah, Anderson's.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, Sam?
Will they have any mutton bars in them, or they will be one over one?
Yeah, they're just gotta be, nothing like that. Just open window.
Window panes.
Yes, no window pane.
Okay, so the next thing we'd be looking for is some sort of commonality on how you trim it out.
Well, as you can see on the picture window where there's no trim around it, except at the top, and the rest of my house has no trim on it either, all except one other window. I've been getting rid of the trim over the years.
Well, we'd like you to put it back.
As long as you come maintain it.
Well, AZAC is pretty good.
I've
So these are gonna be-
80% of my house has no trim around it now.
See, we can't see that. Well, take your word for it. So, for instance, the window that's showing right now, that'll be just bare, simple, no trim around it.
Correct. a double hung.
In the two that are
In
below
the two, though, I don't have a picture of it, but the one below it has no trim on it. And the one to the left of it in my kitchen has no trim around it. That whole gable, this is the gable side, the north side.
Okay. Do any of them, any of the front ones have trim?
Only my large picture window in my living room. And it only has it on the bottom.
I mean, it has.
Sorry, the bottom and the top, because I have, what is it?
siding.
Yeah, I have siding that goes up to it.
Well,
Well, as you can see, I have eliminated the siding on this window here that's showing right now. And I've done that throughout the, the looks better, I think, and it's more convenient for, I'm getting older and less maintenance for us.
These are the only windows left with trim.
Yeah, these are really the only windows left with trim, except for my large picture window, which is which has siding on it, aluminum siding, or vinyl siding. I'm sorry.
well, I'm not sure what to tell you. Obviously, everybody would like to have the least maintenance, and I can't tell you what that would do to the historic business district. So I'm just going to wait to hear what my commissioners say, but I would prefer trim around all the windows.
I mean, am I supposed to, the windows that I've replaced, 10 years ago and 12 years ago and 15 years ago, then I should take them down and put trim around them to match 80% of my house, 90% it has no trim around the windows.
So you're not replacing all the windows, right, Robbie?
Correct. I have done so over the years. These are the last really 4.
Well, I'm reserving my comments for later.
Okay, Sam. Bob?
Yes.
Just a question. There are 2 in the photos. Single windows, and they have trim. So when you put that's a picture.
Yes.
So when you replace those windows, are you proposing to replace the trim like for like?
No, I'd like to I wanted to get rid of the trim for it matches the rest of the house.
Okay, and so there are 4 windows you want to replace. And how many windows total are in the house total?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I have 16 windows total on the house, and I believe there's only 2 left that would have trim on it.
Okay, so I think it makes sense to replace them to be consistent, not having you do all this work for all these windows. But
Well, yeah.
I would be okay with the no trim.
All right, Steve?
No further comment.
Okay, Steve?
Yeah, I think I would rather see the trim around the windows. It's more traditional. I think it's actually better for the window. And if it's in the historic district, I think they should have the casing around the edges and the sill across the bottom. I'm not sure if you've replaced windows over the past 10 or 15 years. I'm not sure how this hasn't been caught.
Well, I think it matches my, well, number one, I have no neighbors except for businesses, and even the business next door to me, which used to be John Meister's, they have no trim around their windows. And neither does actually the affordable housing. They don't have trim around their windows either, I believe.
I mean, I guess I would,
I'm actually matching John Meister's place next door. So historically, I guess.
I understand, and I know it's a big project now to go back and retrim all the windows that you've already replaced, but I guess I would rather see them, you know, be more traditionally trimmed out with 1x5 or something around them. But I understand it's a big project, so I'm kind of in the same boat as Sam. You know, I hate to put you through a lot of work, but I think it's a better look if they're trimmed out. So,
Well, I should ask, how is my area historical? Seeing I was really the only house here at the beginning, and the neighbors have no trim around their windows.
I understand.
So aren't I sort of, hasn't it changed over the years where trim and no trim?
I understand.
No, Robbie, you said you took the trim off.
Correct. Correct. To match my neighbors.
Well, that's
Because my neighbor said it made more sense at the time.
Yeah, 15 years ago, Robbie, you should have come before the H.B.D.C to get that approved. When you replaced the other windows.
When did it become a historical Kroll Road or Branch Street?
I believe Sarah's here. I think it was 84. That when the historic district went in?
September 9th, 1985.
85. Okay, sorry.
Had no idea.
Yeah. So you were originally in the historic. You're like my shop. You know, you were in the historic business district. You were commercial property, right?
General business.
Yes.
Residential GB3. Non-conforming.
Right.
So when we have the next door, I believe I'm trying to remember when the Meister's was built. That was after 85 and no trim around his windows. And then the, affordable housing across the street, no trim around their windows. I mean, am I matching them or are they trying to match me?
Yeah, hi, this is Steve. I just have a question. How many of these windows are facing the street?
One will be facing the street.
How many other windows are facing the street?
Two more.
There you go.
A large picture window.
Maybe we can make a compromise and have you trim out those 3 windows, at least the ones that face the street, and then leave the others alone.
Hey.
I mean, that's a compromise.
So the one I have now has no trim around it that I'm taking out. So you want me to put trim in? The one, the large window that you're looking at? Or the large window that was up, the double, picture window?
I think it would look better. Yes, myself, and even a piece of sill across the bottom, but.
Well, that's what it is. It has a piece on the bottom. And that's facing the street. And that's been facing the street for a long time.
I mean, you're probably going to have to remove those shingles around the window anyway to replace the window. So, it wouldn't be much to add some 1x5 around it.
Well, I know, but it's also, it's money and maintenance and.
I understand.
Over the years, I believe that it doesn't protect your window better. I think putting the window up with the vinyl and with snow and ice and then the shingles would make my windows last longer. And I think it makes it, the lines are straighter and makes the house look better. A little less unkept when the paint peels and stuff.
All right. Well, I'll wait to see what the other opinions are. Thank you.
The PVC wouldn't be any, any problem whatsoever
Yeah,
for the next 10, 15 years. But
I know, but that's
It-
still,
normally, unfortunately, we would, and I thought there was going to be trim put around these windows. Talking to the installer, that was the impression that I got. If they're coming out and new windows are going in, I see no reason why there couldn't be trim around them. It's not a big deal. You're absolutely right. The shingles are going to have to go anyways. You're going to have new shingles up there, no matter what you do.
um,
And there are how many, Robbie? There's 4.
I mean, I have a lot of windows around my house that have no trim around it. I mean,
Well, we can't,
the front of the house has, vinyl siding all the way except this window. I mean, in the front here. It's just not matching the rest of the house, and they're not matching the bedrooms and stuff.
Robbie, you said the rest of the house is vinyl siding?
The rest of the front of the house, yes. It's two separate. It was one part of the house was an older part of the house. I mean, this is part of the north side of the house. In the south side of the house, next to it has window and it's vinyl siding on the front, yellow. So in other words, the only window that has shingles around it is
Vinyl
this
siding
one
really
on the
gonna
front.
make it difficult to get trim on there.
Well, it is in the long run. Even if you use the black. Yeah, there we see. Yeah, you can see the two side on the where the chimney is. There's no trim around the windows. The front one to the right, yep, there has some on the bottom only. And then the one over here, this bedroom, no trim around it. Good, the vinyl siding goes tight to it. And this is the window over here. And then on the other side where these trees were is where we would like to continue around with no trim. Because all these windows and on the back of the house is 5 windows on the back of the house that have no trim on it.
More than 5.
Okay. Well,
And it sets pretty far back from the street also.
well, the vinyl siding really complicates things. So.
yeah,
Sam?
well, I think seeing a picture of the whole house. Now, I went by and I didn't quite get it. I was busy with traffic and I didn't get a chance to spend much time, but there's trim around the door.
Correct.
And there are corner boards everywhere. But the proportions of the windows themselves are, I think, it would be in the size of the clapboards. I could be comfortable with those 2 windows without trim. But the windows that are in the shingles area, I think should be. And you only have to do the ones that have, that you're applying for. They could be 4-inch 1x4, which is 3.5 inches wide. And I think that would be acceptable. But it should sit on a sill piece.
It's going to sit on a
And it would only be this side, I think. So these 2 windows on the side are very visible from the street.
All right, so you're saying that this one, these two here?
Yeah.
Okay, and you say you want trim. The other ones would be all right without trim?
Well, you'll have to get a J channel from the aluminum siding people, or the vinyl siding people, because you need to have the proper flashing at the window.
We're not replacing this one or this one.
Oh, you are?
We are not. Only this one on the back. I'm just saying that the trim, the vinyl goes tight to the windows here on the vinyl. And over here, the far where the shingle part is, you can see there's no trim around that window now. Just a little piece on the bottom.
Well, usually you put a J channel, but you're not replacing these ones in the vinyl siding. Is that right?
Correct. We're not. I'm just trying to match them because they don't have trim around the window.
Oh.
And the ones on the chimney side, all those windows, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 windows on that side, and none of them have trim on it. I'm just trying to match my whole house up.
You can't do that.
Well, in 1974, when it was built, right, all these windows on the side didn't have trim on them.
Okay, is there anybody else in the commission who'd like to make a comment? Now that we have a little more information, Steve?
No, I mean, I guess I still would like to see, I know it's hard to go back and redo those windows that are in the vinyl siding. But you have a chance to put the trim around the window that's in the with the cedar shingles, and I think that should be done. Whether I don't know. I would rather see at least that window trimmed out.
The one on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm, okay with it all being consistent. And if we didn't have the vinyl, I think would be a different decision. Those are my comments.
Okay. All right then. Well, let's see what happens. Robbie, you'd be all right with putting trim around that one window?
Not particularly, but if I have to.
If I have to, yes.
I think it's the easiest way out of this, to be honest with you. If you use
All right.
PVC, you won't have to worry about it. Put it up and forget it.
All right. So I'll do that on the front one, and then the rest can match. Like the rest I'll be all right with.
I believe so.
All right.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask for a motion. Sam, would you like to make a motion with a condition?
Additions, alterations, 22-887. The application to replace the existing windows on the structure located at 243 Crowell Road as presented, with the condition that the window in the vinyl siding, help me, Steve. What's
Front of the house.
Well, yeah. If you bring that picture back with they had the front of the house. I mean, and I don't even know if everyone agrees to this or not, but the ones in the vinyl siding, I guess, just have a J channel around it, and there's no 1x5 or 4 casing around it. The door has casing around it. If you think it's for consistency to not put casing around the window that's in the shingles, that I wouldn't do it personally, but if it's better for consistency, and if
I'm trying to make the motion, Steve. I'm not trying to solve the problem anymore.
I know that. I know that.
My problem is the motion, and I want to know what was agreed.
Well, I had suggested that the windows that are in the vinyl siding remain as they are, and the one that's in the cedar shingles be trimmed with 1x4 or 5 casing.
Okay, so that would be the condition, Sam. So that the application be conditioned such that the single window on the gable end with the gable end with the white cedar shingles be trimmed.
Okay. So, and that's the door on the window on the second floor, isn't it? The windows on the first.
We're talking about the large window needs to be trimmed.
That
Correct,
one right
that
there
one.
that Sarah's pointing out,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, with the condition that the large window on the front will have a 1x4 casing around that will come down on a pre-made sill, so that it has a traditional look. That's the motion.
All right.
Bob Burns, second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Ready to vote? All right. Let's see. We got Sam.
Sam Stryver votes to approve.
Okay, then we got Bob Burns.
Bob Burns votes to approve.
Steve DeBoer.
Steve DeBoer votes to approve.
And Dan Silva votes to approve. Very good, Robbie. There you go. That's one window.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
The second application under additions and alterations is 22-88 Broad Meadow 35 Orleans Road, LLC. Or it's not that, the name is 035 Orleans LLC, care of Philbrook Construction. Application to replace the existing entry door and transom and trim to the structure located at 235 Orleans Road.
Very good. Do we have the applicant or a representative with us? Hey, there he is. How you doing?
Good evening to the
Look at the
chair and
t-shirt.
commissioners tonight. I'm Josh with Philbrook Construction, and I'm representing the owner of 235 Orleans Road to replace the side door entry, the door and the transom above it and associated trim. I'm happy to answer any of your questions that you have at this time.
That's pretty straightforward. All right. Sam?
I think the picture there, that picture illustrates, identifies all the trim sizes, and the door is a 6-panel door in a colonial pattern with the 4 lights up above. And you're going to replace this all like for like, right?
The only change is the transom, the replacement transom will not have the lights above it. And this is in keeping with the current front configuration. If you go to the second page of your packet, the large display windows on the front of this building do not have divided lights. So the owner would like to keep that consistent since the transom is at the same level of the other transoms in the front of the building, and eliminate the lights on this transom for the side entry as well.
No, well, okay. I see the rationale. I hate losing this little incident of good design, which would require the lights. But I can see that the double doors don't have lights, and neither do all the windows. So it's a shame to lose them. That's my opinion.
Okay, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob?
transom is going away. Is that correct or not correct?
Just the lights, sir. The same size transom will be in that opening. I think the specifications are like the next page after the door. It's still a 12-inch transom. It will just not have the divided lights between the glass.
Okay.
The next page on the packet, I think it's number 5, shows the full door and transom setup.
Okay. Okay. I think it's fine. I have no further questions, and it's pretty consistent with the rest of the first floor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Steve?
No, I have no questions. I think it's, it does make things look more consistent. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is Dan Silver. I don't have any questions either. I see why they're doing it. I'm fine with it.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Do we have a motion?
Let me ask one question.
Right.
One of the cut sheets has a newel post or a baluster. What is that? Oh, no, that's the door section. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yes, sir. That's just a cross section of the replacement door.
Yeah. Okay, so 22-088 Broadmeadow 035 Orleans LLC, care of Philbrook Construction. The application to replace the existing entry door, transom, and trim to the structure located at 235 Orleans Road as presented.
Very good.
Yes, sir. Just to clarify that the Broadmeadow should read 235 Orleans LLC. I think it's just a misprint. It should match the address. It should be 235, not 035. I apologize.
That makes absolute sense. So
It actually does.
the motion,
Broadmeadow,
Just for administrative purposes.
It's
The motion.
235 Orleans Road. So.
the motion to approve is so amended.
Bob Burns, second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Ready to vote? All right, Sam.
Yes, I approve the motion.
Okay, Bob.
Bob Burns approves.
Okay, Steve.
Steve DeBoer votes to approve.
Okay, and Dan Silva votes to approve too. Very good. All right.
Thank you very much. You make it a great night.
Thank you. You too. Good luck.
So the next applicant is a modification, 22-85 Chatham Productions LLC, care of Victoria Clark. Application to modify the certificate of appropriateness to reduce the elevation and square footage of the dwelling located at 15 Annabelle Lane.
Hi everyone, how are
Hey,
you?
there you are.
So the biggest change is, as you can probably see from the elevations, it looks the exact same. We kept all of the materials the same. The biggest change was we reduced the house by only 44 square feet. So when I believe you remember last month when we came in for lot 2, one of the big things we were focused on because of some comments we got at the original zoning board meeting we had was that the proposed dwelling specifically of this house was over the 15% that's allowed for. And I know that's not relevant to this situation, but that was something the zoning board talked about. So this house was originally at 16.6% proposed dwelling coverage when it was approved back in January. And so we reduced the house, we reduced the first floor footprint and the proposed dwelling, so it affected the covered porches to be under the 15% proposed dwelling coverage. And as a result, there's not much change other than the slight shrinkage in square footage. If anyone has any questions.
All right. And how much did you cut the height by?
The height did not change. It was
Oh, I thought it
primarily,
Did I read this wrong? I'm sorry.
hold on, let me take a look. It might have.
It says reduce the elevation, the square footage.
Reduce, so I'm trying to think of let me reread it. The building height increased by half a foot just due to the I don't know as much about the architecture, but I think that had to do with where the reductions came from because the original footprint was 2,100 square feet, and it is now 1992. So, I cannot speak to the architecture of how that came to be, but so the elevation is still below the allotted 30 feet by, I believe, before it was by maybe, I can look at the math. I think before it was by 2 feet, and now it's by 1.5 feet that it's below the maximum ridge elevation.
All right, thank you. All right, Sam?
I had real problems with the calculations here. And I'm still not quite understanding how this house got reduced. At 44 square, and we pre-approved the house last time. Is that not correct?
No, that is correct, yes.
So the anomalies that I'm finding, the problems I'm finding, and one thing I'd like to get squared away is I'm trying to read here that the new design second floor is 1,992 square feet. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. The original design is 1,730 square feet. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
So you've enlarged the second floor.
Yes, I believe so. That is correct.
By 68 feet, square feet.
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
So your calculation for coverage isn't the footprint.
Yes.
Is not the footprint. It's the roofed area. So if you had a house that was 10,000 square feet, and on the second floor you put a 20,000 square foot house, your second floor, 20,000 square foot, your coverage would be based on that, on the larger, because it's the roofed area in the definition. So your coverage now wouldn't go down, it would go up. And I can't understand how you can design a house, a contemporary house like this, how you can design a house and have the second floor get larger. Unless you're not calculating areas under 6 feet. And the calculation is a complex one that you have to chase around, because when the elevation goes down below, when you have sloped roofs and the square footage area hits a 6 foot height, that's where the calculation stops. So it's almost impossible to have a house that has sloped roofs on the second floor, to have that second floor be larger than the first floor. But I'm not calculating it, so I'd be surprised.
Well, in this instance, I think I'm not sure if I misheard you, but so in the new design, the first floor is 1,992, and the second floor is 1,798. So it is, I don't know if I mistyped, but before the original, and I don't really remember the exact what the original design, how much it was different on the second floor. I think it had something to do with the dormers we had originally designed not being livable, and I do know with the proposed dwelling coverage in the town, that is a calculation that David Clark does from the engineering drawings, and I believe Sarah can confirm this. I believe that is based upon the foundation as well as the, I believe, corner boards and covered porches is what goes into proposed dwelling coverage, which was the number I was referring to. I don't believe it has anything to do with overall roof coverage. I do think if it's an overhang like a covered porch, that is what makes up, adds square footage, and that counts, hence why in the covered porches on the front, on the, I believe it's the north elevation and the, or it might not be the north, it's the, on the west elevation and the south elevation, those two decks, that is where some square footage comes from because they are decks, but up above them, there is living space, if that answers the question.
But a covered porch is calculated in the coverage.
Yes.
Even if
But
it's
I
not
guess
floored.
what I'm saying,
It's
what I was saying,
It's not based
the
on,
square,
it's based on covered porch. If you have a screen porch, the coverage has got a roof on it, and therefore it's counted as coverage.
yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying is what we have on the footprint, and I guess this is a correction, if going forward, we can change this with Mark Zegrat. The square footage he has is living square footage, so it's the interior of the house versus the proposed
So
dwelling.
this isn't zoning for square footage. This is
Yes, no, on the floor plans, it's not zoning square footage, but on the
Okay,
site
well-
plan, it's zoning.
Okay. Okay, that's understandable.
Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, Sam?
Yes, I mean, we approved it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Okay, Bob?
Couple, Victoria, the placement of the foundation has not changed relative
On the
to,
site, no.
to the ball
It is
field.
now, no, it has not. It is now further away than it was before, from the, so it originally was 18 and I believe a half feet from the field, and it's now 19 and a 12th. So it's a little bit further, but not by much, just because of the adjustment, but.
Okay, and then it looks like the pool is not there any longer.
Yes, we decided that we weren't going to put in a pool at the meantime. We haven't, when we submitted for zoning, we put in a landscape design that did not include a pool, still showed along the ball field with the berm and the trees we had originally talked about back in January. So that's still something we're planning on doing. But at the moment, there is no plans to put any landscaping other than the two proposed patios.
Okay, and I guess my concern continues to be the proximity to the field.
If it makes you, oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, if it makes you feel better, we actually were doing some calculations because of something we're doing for zoning with regards to this property is that from the fence where the outfield fence is to the house is, because we calculated that this week, is over about from the fence to the house is about 65 feet. So, and I know that doesn't, it like on the visually, it doesn't feel like a lot, but 65 feet is a decent amount of distance between the fence and the house. If that makes anyone feel better.
Was it 65 feet before, or has that changed?
It was, I believe it was, because the distance from the house to the property line is only about a foot. It was probably about 64 before. It is kind of hard to visualize. Obviously, I know when we did the site walkthrough, it's hard to tell because the house is, because the terrain is different and the trees are there and what's not there. But also this past week, we did a bit of a walk. Like I was in the area and we were taking a look at the trees. When it is summer, and the town does own about, from the scoreboard to the property line is about 15 to 20 feet. And that is like a good chunk of trees, especially spring. They were very full and green, and it was kind of hard to see where, it's difficult to tell where our trees end and their start, the town start, but it sounds like a close distance, but it's not as close as it seems.
And the stakes that were there back when we did the walkthrough, those stakes are still there?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
We haven't removed, so they should still be there. They might, in a few weeks, David Clark probably actually not for a few weeks, and later in October. David Clark will be restaking this new house, but the current stakes should still be there. We haven't removed them.
Okay, and then this still has to go back to the ZBA, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We're just with a reduction in size and a change, and that's why we're going back. Yes, we still need the special permit.
Okay, because I did watch the ZBA meeting. Okay, no, but my concern is still the house and where it is and proximity. And I've been to a few games this year where I just look over there and I say, wow, it's a challenge. So that's my concern. Thank you.
All right, Steve?
Yeah, I think, I agree that the proximity of the house to the field is probably everyone's concern, but, I'm not sure what we can do about that. I'm glad to see that you're trying your best to try to bring this into compliance with the coverages and things. So, and I know we did approve this previously, so, I'm not sure what else we can talk about, but I appreciate you putting the effort in to get this as close to compliance as possible. Thank you.
All right, would anybody like to make a last comment before I ask for a motion? Sam?
I just want to clarify that when you use the term coverage and you come up with a percent of 14.9%, that meets zoning coverage. This is gross square feet. This is what you're measuring here is gross square feet, not coverage. And by any stretch of the imagination. And if you refer to use the word coverage when it's not covered, coverage is a zoning criteria, and it doesn't have any other meaning in building except for landscape, hardscape coverage, which is used by the planning department. But so, and just think, 14.9 doesn't really mean anything. I'm glad to see a reduction in the square footage. That's the important thing. Because that's gross square footage.
All right, anyone else? All right, do we have a motion?
Someone else should make the motion, please.
In the affirmative. Bob, you want to make a motion? You're off, Bob.
Yeah, I'm on now. Under modifications, I'll make a motion to approve 22-085 Chatham Productions LLC, care of Victoria Clark, application to modify the certificate of appropriateness to reduce the elevation and square footage of the dwelling located at 15 Annabelle Lane.
As presented.
Steve DeBoer will second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All right, folks, here we go. Sam?
Sam Stryber votes to approve.
Okay. Bob Burns?
Bob Burns, no.
No. Okay.
I'm trying to be consistent with my last vote in the previous meeting, so I still vote no.
Okay, realize, Bob, this is just to reduce the size of it. It's already been approved.
I'm okay with the reduced size.
Okay, so you're voting in favor?
But I don't approve of the house being where it is.
Yeah, this is just, I believe
Okay.
the application is an application to modify the certificate of appropriateness to reduce the elevation and square footage. So it's simply making it smaller. It's already been approved.
Okay, I approve.
Okay. All right. And Steve DeBoer?
I will approve the changes that have been presented.
Okay, and Bob, likewise, I voted against this the last time. I'm going to vote in favor of this because they're reducing the size and the elevation. So it's not that I'm approving of the house.
Thank
All right.
you. I appreciate it.
All righty. Whoops.
What happened to our chairman?
He
All
left.
right. Well, all right.
Oh, okay, there it is.
You made a motion, Sam?
I made one. Oh,
Do we have a second?
Bob Burns, what's the, I thought we already approved the motion.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Bob Burns, second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Sam, you obviously approve.
Yes, I approve.
Okay, Steve?
I vote to adjourn.
Okay, and Robert?
I vote to adjourn.
Okay, and Dan Silva does as well. Thank you so much, folks.
We are
Little
adjourned
rough
at
there, little rough
5:32
going for a
p.m.
while, but we made it.